this lesson, we're going to head back into Unity Editor and start placing some objects. Firstly, let's place a plane. Then let's place a capsule. I'm going to call the capsule player. And then let's create a cube. Let's get a bit closer to them and let's move these around. The cube out of the way for now and move the player up out of the plane. So if you click on each of these objects, you'll see they each have a different collider. So the capsule has a capsule collider. The box has a box, the square has a box collider. And then the plane has a mesh collider. Now with mesh colliders, you have an option to set them to convex. Convex means basically that if you were to put a rubber band around its outwards most vertices, this is the shape it would make. We won't go too much into that right now. Now, a collider defines the area of which this object will collide with another object. So now you can see these little faint green lines. That's telling me that's the area which is the collider. You can edit this, but when you make an object, it sets it to the same shape as the object. We're just going to leave that as is for now. But if you wanted to, you could make him longer or shorter, wider if you liked. And then see the same with the box. He has a collider that suits it. So if you click Edit Collider, that'll allow you to edit the colliders. Now you see here that there's also Is Trigger option. So a normal collider, it's a hard surface. It detects that something's hit the outside of it. But if we set it to Is Trigger, now this doesn't have any hard walls. It detects if something goes on the inside of this defined area instead. So we won't use the trigger for this one. We're just going to set them to boxes. Now, before we write some code, let's go in on our player and add component RigidBody. Now, a RigidBody tells our editor that this has physics on this object. Now, I can change things like the mass, the drag, angular drag, whether it uses gravity or not. And this will change how the player reacts with the world in this. So now you can see, now that he has a rigid body, let's move him up a little bit more first. If I click and enter play mode, he will fall. Let's change how we play that. Let's make our game come next to it like this so we can see our game view as well. Where's our main camera? Let's move that so it sees a bit more what we want. Okay, that's better. So now if we click play, you'll see the capsule falls to the ground, which is going to be our player. Because the rigid body tells it that it has gravity. Now if I increase the mass, it would fall faster. If I lowered the mass, it would fall slower because the force that's being applied to it is differently. So a rigid body allows an object to have forces from physics applied to it. All right, now let's create a new script and we're going to call it collision. So we can create C# script collisions. See you in the next video.